We're in the Painting Conservation Studio with an amazing portrait by William Larkin, who we identify as Lady Jane Thornaugh. And the painting is here not for treatment. Paintings come to the studio for many different reasons, and in this case, we are studying her. We're studying her because this is an exceptional painting technically, and also so that we can learn more about William Larkin as an artist, how he worked in his studio, how big his studio was, all things that this painting can help us get to the bottom of. So obviously a lot of things stand out about this picture. There's a wow costume. It's also the palette and the brightness of the varied colors, the contrasting colors that kind of dance your eye around the painting, and also Larkin's beautiful and really signature ability to capture different textures. And by that I mean this amazing blue and red mantle, how you can see just by the way he blended the highlights on them that one is silky and one is plush, one is velvet. The embroidery is crisp and the brush is used to pull the paint to make little stitches of paint so that the paint looks almost like a stitch on the paint layer. Another aspect of the costume that really stands out and is important for this portrait and this moment in fashion is, of course, the fantastical and whimsical imagery that is on her silk skirt. And you can see that it's silk because of the very strong highlights on the white textile. And again, these kind of sea creatures and monsters emerging from the sea of her skirt and going back down. And when they do that, they create little puddles and ripple effects that are also embroidered or painted on her skirt. Which contrasts so beautifully the imagery that's on her bodice, which are more commonplace things. There's a rooster, there's a little caterpillar, roses, pansies, things that you would actually find in Britain at the time. Another aspect of Larkin's practice that I think makes him stand out at this moment is his ability to render flesh so differently from other textures. So if we look at contemporary paintings, sometimes they have beautifully done painterly effects, beautiful costumes, but his ability to really make the flesh look tactile and dimpled and soft against those kind of metallic almost moments of lace and metal embroidery on the dress are really stand out. The painting was made in 1617, which of course is inscribed right there on the table on which Jane leans her fingers. We use lots of different techniques to examine paintings. We look with our eyes, obviously. We looked on the microscope with micro XRF. We're seeing both the pigments used, the elements in the pigments that were used by Larkin in his studio. So for example, this amazing silk, this blue on her mantle, appears entirely as a mass of copper when using micro XRF. And the copper correlates to azurite blue, which is a very costly and resplendent blue. When mixed with white, has very good longevity. Micro XRF can also highlight different ways that the paint was applied. So for example, it can show us the size of the brushes, sometimes a little bit better because of course our eye sees white and cream mixed together, but the instrument is just seeing elements. So for example, we can see on the flesh how very softly the vermilion red is blended across her cheek, and this is done with a kind of wide, very soft, originally, or at this time, animal hair brush to get this amazing porcelain-like effect. To get these little dots and stitches and daubs, the artist, the craftsman, used these fine pointed brushes. So not every artist applies paint the same way. And so when we were looking at a painting and we were questioning, is this a William Larkin or is this made in a different studio entirely, we're looking for those very specific ways that he puts down paint and with what size and type of brushes.